mentioned something, man, that really stuck with me. Two things kind of jumped out at me. One, you mentioned your friend Joe, who's in the UFC, and you mentioned that they've given you a path to the title shot. How important is it as a fighter to have people like Joe around you and people who are coaching and speaking into your life? And then, who does that for you? Who's kind of your go-to people? And then, we could kind of take a look at that from the spiritual side of things too. But who is your tribe? Who is around you that lock shields with you in this process?
As far as training partners, probably one of the best training partners I've ever had. He's 3-0 as a pro and really doesn't want to fight anymore. And Jonathan may remember him, but Corey Crumpler,
Hmm.
just a phenomenal training partner. And it's almost more beneficial for me that he doesn't really want a big pro career because he's just always there to help me with anything I need. And guy, he's been a blessing just meeting him and having him be a part of the gym. Who I recently gave him his black belt, just a stud partner. But then having a guy like Joe come in, who Joe is a young guy. He's 26 now, and he's still so hungry. And it's easy, for me, who I've had 21 pro fights. I've fought in every major organization, had a lot of success lately. For me to go, okay, I'm going to coast out, but to have a guy like Joe who's so hungry, who's always pushing me to make sure we're doing more, and
Mm.
Joe and I are at the same weight class. So while we train together a lot, we may not be the perfect training partners for each other, but he's really kind of forced me to change a lot lately.
Hmm.
Um, I've always ever since college, because in college I feel like I learned how to lift and do things like that. Um, and now for years I've done my own pretty much lifting, and obviously I've had coaches for conditioning, but I've done my own lifting, and then about I guess about a year ago or a year and a half ago, um, Joe got me to go. Now we're working with Hudson Rose here in town, who's got several professional athletes in different sports. That's changed a lot. Now I've got a coach there making sure that um, I'm not getting complacent when it comes to my strength and conditioning. And then the other thing that I think is one of the most significant things you talk about, people that kind of give you that drive and lead you in the right direction. So no matter how good you are, you need somebody to lead you in the right direction when you're competing. And I've started spending so much time at Gym O out in Gastonia, which is outside of Charlotte, with Jeff Jimmo, he's the coach there. If you look it up, the number of guys that he's had in major organizations is just unbelievable, especially for kind of a small town gym. Uh,
Sure.
but that, like Jeff and I, we don't have the same style. Um, if he's planning to fight somebody and I'm planning to fight somebody, it's going to be completely different ways because
Yeah.
he wrestled in college and he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but he spent, you know, half of his life in Thailand on Muay Thai. So, we're going to have very different styles going into it, but still having a guy who can break fights down and you know, help me prepare so much and lead me in the right direction is been absolutely huge.
So I'll say this real quick, and I'm gonna throw it over to you, John. So really, in a sense, guys, when John steps into the cage and the door shuts, even though he looks alone, he's not alone.
Hmm.
He's carrying, all these people who are involved um, with him, who've worked with him, who've been his training partners, who have trained him. He's not walking in there alone. And I think there's an important spiritual principle for us that we need those people around us. John.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's what I just wanted to hit on too. Is like that idea of having people that you're going to, just like like I said, John's a top athlete in the world, but he's also going to other people to help keep him sharp. And that's the thing I think in our spiritual walk, like especially if you're a pastor, if you're in ministry, you can have to get this idea of like, oh well, I'm the one that has all the answers, and you don't go to nobody, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
can be a very lonely place. But so I would just
Amen.
just pressure press people to go, oh man, we got to have our tribe around us. We got to have people that are constantly making us, pushing us, like John said, Joe does for him, is pushing him to be better, challenging him, and people need to be challenging us and saying like, how's your walk today? Like, what are you actually doing? You go, oh, I'm good. I read my Bible. Yeah, but did you actually study anything? And like pushing you more to actually be have a closer walk and having a more vibrant spiritual life. I think that's something that I would take away from that, just what that connection.